TLC's popular 90 Day Fiancé franchise has been around for more than 11 years. The International Relationship Series has launched numerous spin-offs featuring well over 100 couples and thruples who are hoping love could overcome distance and cultural differences. Each of those couples have friends and family, vastly expanding the number of characters in the 90 Day Fiancé universe. Among the hundreds of characters featured on the various 90 Day Fiancé shows over the years, there have been numerous arrests and convictions. Starcasm has covered most all of the criminal activities of those associated with the franchise over the years, and we've compiled a list of some of the worst offenders. The list is based on crimes and/or convictions that occurred after the person appeared on the show. That means the pre-show crimes of folks like Paul, Molly, Josh, and Elizabeth's whole family were not eligible to make the list. I should also point out that Leda Margarita has been arrested multiple times since her appearance on 90 Day Fiancé Season 6, but she has yet to be convicted of any crime, so she wasn't really eligible either. To avoid any unnecessary controversy or heated debate, the entries are not ranked. Instead, they are arranged chronologically based on when the person first appeared on TLC. Kicking off the list of 90 Day Fiancé's worst criminals is Michael Eloshway. Michael appeared in the very first season of the show alongside his much younger Russian fiancé and eventual wife, Aziza.
I don't know, but I don't really care what other people think, and we don't really have to prove it to anybody else. Just what we have, it's the most important thing for us.
I'm so happy that everything worked out the way it did.
Oh.
I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
You're so sweet. You're blushing.
That's just love flowing up into my face.
Michael Eloshway was indicted in June of 2023 for one count of possession of child pornography and one count of receipt and distribution of visual depictions of real minors engaged in sexually explicit conduct. The arrest was the result of a federal investigation into users transmitting illegal image and video files via BitTorrent. Michael's IP address received or transmitted approximately 63,439 files between February 2022 and March of 2023, according to the federal investigators. Of those 63,439 files, approximately 9,541 files were determined to be severe files. After police raided Michael's home and seized his computer, he admitted the illegal files were on his computer. However, he argued that he downloaded files in large batches and would delete the underage material. He had yet to do that with his latest downloads when his computer was seized. Michael Eloshway was found guilty of multiple counts of possession of child pornography on July 24, 2024. In October of 2024, Michael was sentenced to 10 years in federal prison, which was well below the recommended sentence range of 17.5 to 20 years. Michael's convictions are more concerning given that he and Aziza have a young daughter. Olivia Joan Eloshway was born January 14, 2019, and was 4 years old when Michael was arrested. Soon after his arrest, Michael Eloshway agreed to take a polygraph test. According to court documents, the test was administered, quote, and Mr. Eloshway is shown to have been truthful in his denial of any sexual contact with children, unquote. Michael filed an appeal in December of 2024. That appeal is still active, with the next hearing scheduled for July of 2025. Next on the list is 90 Day Fiancé Season 4 star Jorge Nava, who was with the famously short-tempered Anfisa from Russia.
Today is the green card interview, and I feel very excited about it because having a green card definitely gives me more freedom. Finally, I'm gonna be able to get a driver license, to get a car, maybe travel. But George and I have been fighting a lot lately. Hopefully we get along today so I can pass my interview. Hey.
What?
Where are you going?
I'm going to get my wallet.
Bring me my red bag with my makeup.
Can I have a key?
Yes, you can have a key. George was late. We were late because of him. He's not very punctual. You always have to wait for him. I hope it's not going to be a big problem.
We're going into this interview to show that we're in love and happy, but starting it off with the fight is a bad example.
It seems unlikely that being arrested for marijuana possession could land someone on this list, but that all changes when you're talking about nearly 300 pounds of it. In February of 2018, George was traveling east on Interstate 40 in Arizona when he was pulled over for a traffic stop. Police searched his vehicle and found 293 pounds of high-grade marijuana. Jorge Nava pleaded guilty to felony attempted transportation of marijuana in July of 2018. In September of 2018, George was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. He was also fined $20,000. Making matters worse for George, he and his wife Anfisa Nava split up after he went away. While seemingly at rock bottom, George's time in prison appears to have had an incredibly positive impact on his life. He lost a lot of weight while incarcerated, and he entered into a serious relationship with another woman soon after his release in May of 2020. George and his girlfriend Rhoda have since welcomed 2 children together. Their daughter Zara just turned 4, and they also have a 3-year-old boy named George, with a G.
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? I'm George, and this is my beautiful girlfriend, Rhoda. Here we have our beautiful creation, Zara.
If you're curious what George is doing for work these days, it appears he has turned his experience with marijuana into a full-time and fully legal career. According to multiple Instagram posts from earlier this year, George is now the Director of Cultivation at California's Cha-Ching Farms.
We plan out our veg to be around 18 days. Since recently, with the DO, I'm achieving the same outcome within a 10 to 12-day period.
The Worst Criminals in 90 Day Fiancé history list continues with Angela Deem's daughter, Scottie Deem. Scottie Deem was featured prominently when Angela made her TLC debut on the 2nd season of 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days. She was the person most often in scenes with Angela before Angela flew to Nigeria to meet Michael. However, it appears Angela's scenes with Scottie have since been deleted from the streaming versions of the episodes currently available via Max and Discovery+. Scottie Deem was arrested in September of 2017 and charged with aggravated child molestation and aggravated sodomy after she allegedly had sexual relations with a juvenile boy at her house. Scottie was later indicted on 1 count of aggravated child molestation, 11 counts of child molestation, and 1 count of statutory rape. 35-year-old Scottie Deem pleaded guilty to 3 counts of child molestation and was sentenced to 3 concurrent 20-year sentences in early 2019. Scottie was released on parole in May of 2020 after serving just 1 year and 3 months. She doesn't turn up when searching the Georgia Department of Corrections website for active parolees, but Scottie is on the sex offender registry list. She reportedly lives with her mother, Angela. We're continuing to count down some of the worst criminals in 90 Day Fiancé history. 90 Day Fiancé and Happily Ever After star Ashley Martson's husband Jay Smith filmed numerous scenes at his favorite barbershop with his barber friends Michael Baltimore and Kendall Cook. Fans will likely recall the scenes in which Michael and Kendall revealed to Ashley that Jay hooked up with another woman in the barbershop bathroom.
You know that he was in here and I was allowing him to do a couple tattoos and he disrespected my barbershop. He took somebody in the bathroom while he was supposed to be tatting, and it was customers in here. What
do you mean he took someone?
We were in here working, and all of a sudden, it got quiet, and we didn't know what was going on. And someone wanted to use the bathroom, and he's like, hold up.
He went and had sex with someone and your mother?
Yes.
That scene has since been deleted from the streaming versions of the episodes available via Max and Discovery+. Here's another scene with Jay, Kendall, and Michael in which Jay reveals that he was speaking with a girl he met through an app.
So what's going on?
Just chilling, you know what I mean?
How's everything going on with you and Ash?
You know, Ash and I ain't really, you know, working on things so good right now.
No? What's going on?
You know? I don't even want to talk about it, but it's what it is, you know? What?
What you do? If my girl caught me on a dating site, it'd be curtains. It's over. It's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, because that's cheating.
In May of 2021, Kendall was shot and killed at the GQ barbershop featured on the show. According to multiple eyewitnesses, Michael Baltimore walked into GQ barbershop with a handgun, wearing camouflage and a mask. Kendall addressed Michael by name and attempted to flee. Michael reportedly shot him several times, and Kendall later died from the wounds. Michael Baltimore went on the run and landed on the U.S. Marshals Top 15 Most Wanted list with a $25,000 reward. Michael was eventually apprehended in Broward County, Florida in January of 2023. He was arrested after being in a bar fight in Davie, Florida. Police later pulled over a vehicle with Michael and 2 other people in it. The bar fight victim identified Michael as the assailant. Police searched the vehicle Michael was in and reportedly found a loaded firearm, 2.3 grams of fentanyl, over 200 grams of marijuana, 818 ecstasy pills, and 3 fake IDs. He was charged with a laundry list of felonies and booked into the Broward County Jail. Court records indicate Michael received a sentence of 130 days in jail for his Florida charges, and he was credited with 130 days time served. Michael is currently back in Pennsylvania facing multiple charges, including homicide. The case is still active, pending the results of an interlocutory appeal. The 90 Day Fiancé franchise has numerous cast members who've had domestic violence arrests, some of which happened after the person appeared on TLC. However, none of them can compare to Colt Johnson's ex-wife, Larissa dos Santos Lima. The fiery Brazilian was arrested for domestic violence on 3 separate occasions after making her TLC debut as part of 90 Day Fiancé Season 6. Larissa was first booked for domestic battery on June 19, 2018. That was just 5 days before she married Colt.
A few days before the wedding, Larissa and I had a confrontation. So I called the police on Larissa and she was arrested. I called the police more so to protect her. I never wanted her to be arrested. But I guess the state of Nevada had different ideas.
I spent 2 nights in the jail and it was a nightmare. When I went there, I never felt so cold in my life. I saw people that looked to me like want to kill me. In the end, I make some friends there that protect me. And I was released 2 days before my wedding.
Larissa's first arrest went under the media's radar and wasn't reported on until Larissa was booked again roughly 5 months later. On November 10, 2018, Larissa was booked into the Clark County Jail in Las Vegas on a misdemeanor domestic battery charge for the second time. This arrest did not go unnoticed thanks to the fact that Larissa posted a series of photos and videos on social media just prior to her arrest, revealing her and Colt had a serious fight.
Larissa and I got in a huge fight yesterday, and she was arrested for a second time for domestic violence. And I have no idea who called the police. I don't know if it was someone online, because Larissa went on social media asking for help.
Larissa and Colt got into another altercation that turned bloody in January of 2019. Larissa was arrested on January 11th and was charged with domestic battery for the 3rd time. Larissa's first 2 charges were dismissed or denied, but she wasn't quite as lucky with the 3rd. On a positive note, Larissa's quote DUI doctor quote attorney had the domestic battery charge dropped to disorderly conduct, which was a huge win in regards to her being able to remain in the United States. Larissa was given a suspended sentence along with 48 hours of community service, 6 months of weekly domestic violence counseling classes, and a $345 fine. She avoided deportation and is currently living in Las Vegas again. We've already featured 5 former cast members, and now we are down to the final 2, and they are 2 of the worst of the worst. Our list heads back to Hazelhurst, Georgia, thanks to another criminal who appeared alongside 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days and Happily Ever After star Angela Deem. During the 3rd season of Before the 90 Days, Angela was considering a local venue called the Cotton Patch as a location for her and Michael's American wedding. Douglas DJ Doug Wooten was the venue coordinator, and he quickly became a viral sensation after delivering numerous memorable quotes in response to Angela's questions. Unfortunately, Doug's appearance on the show has been deleted from the streaming episode available via Max and Discovery Plus. As a result, this low-quality clip is the only video I could find online of him on the show.
The American wedding, and then we'll turn the venue into African-style reception. How are you going to be able to do that?
As far as African, I mean, we can barbecue a goat, but that's about as far as we can get.
Doug later made more headlines, but this time it was after he was arrested for the murder of a 54-year-old Georgia man. According to the indictment, Doug and 3 other people participated in the invasion of a house owned by a woman named Brittany Martinez on January 4, 2021. During the course of the home invasion, 54-year-old Marcos Ramirez was shot and killed. Doug was charged with 3 counts of felony murder, armed robbery, home invasion, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. The multiple counts of murder were due to multiple felonies allegedly being committed as part of the murder. Douglas Wooten pleaded guilty to a single count of felony murder on May 2, 2022. As part of the plea deal, the prosecutor elected to not prosecute the other charges. 40-year-old Doug was given a life sentence on the same day his plea was entered. He is eligible for parole, but not for a while. According to the Georgia State Board of Pardons and Paroles, a person receiving a life sentence for felony murder is eligible for parole after serving 30 years. Doug has been credited with time served beginning on January 7th of 2021. That would mean he will become eligible for parole in January of 2051. We will keep it in the South for the final entry on our list of some of the worst criminals in 90 Day Fiancé history. Part of Geoffrey Paschel's storyline during the fourth season of 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days was his extensive criminal record. Geoffrey claimed on screen that his legal troubles were far in his past, but he had numerous arrests in the years leading up to his TLC debut, including a domestic violence arrest just a few months before filming. Geoffrey brutally beat his American fiancée during an altercation in June of 2019. Soon after his arrest, Geoffrey began filming for Before the 90 Days. He would fly to Russia to meet his online girlfriend, Varia Molina, for the first time in person.
You told me that I was the only American that you spoke to. You've straight up lied to me. You've been dishonest with me. This plays into the whole fact this plays into the whole fact that you just want to come to America. No, nothing.
Take it easy.
Is this funny?
No.
It's funny?
Not funny. Not.
It's not funny.
Spokojnie.
This is ridiculous.
Man.
You lied to me. I'm done. This is bull.
Geoffrey told Dominic Natty during an interview that he was offered a plea deal which would have resulted in no jail time, but he turned it down. Geoffrey went to trial in October of 2021 and was found guilty of aggravated kidnapping, domestic assault, and interference with an emergency call. In February of 2022, Geoffrey was sentenced to 18 years in prison with no chance of parole. During the sentencing, the judge in the case called Geoffrey's treatment of women sick and sadistic.
He's also very image conscious. I'm not surprised at all that he projects an image outwardly to the world that he is this type of person. What we have seen here and what has been exposed in this trial is that what is going on behind closed doors is much different than the image that Mr. Paschel projects out to the rest of the world. As I've stated, this behavior towards these women is sick, it is sadistic, it goes beyond a desire to inflict physical harm on these women. It speaks of a deep psychological issue, I think, that Mr. Paschel has a desire to inflict as much emotional damage to these women as possible.
Geoffrey has filed multiple appeals, all of which have been denied. His most recent appeal was filed in April of 2025 and is currently still ongoing. Varia remains in a relationship with Geoffrey. She lives in one of his houses and manages the others, which are rental properties. It's unclear if Geoffrey and Varia were ever officially married. She's able to stay in the United States after obtaining a green card via a lottery. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.